Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Port Royal public hearing. The purpose of this public hearing is ordinance 2021-38, an ordinance to authorize the town manager to convey excess real property to facilitate the construction of sidewalks within the town described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, map 11, parcels 007A, approximately 75 feet on 16th Street. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir.
None in the room? Nothing's been sent in? We'll give it a second online.
And this is obviously right next to London Muse on 16th Street.
Next,
Continuation
London
of
Muse
some-
on 16th. It's up on the screen. Everybody should be able to see it now, right? We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and get on with our January 1st of 2022 council workshop. Is Chris here?
Yes, he is. He's in his office.
Our first order of business is our fiscal year budget update by our finance director who's in his office. He's coming on in. He didn't expect us to get through to that quickly.
He was waiting on his entrance music. I'm sorry.
A little bit of,
Did he give you a name? That's right.
do you want to do your council briefing first?
He might be coming around the corner. We can start off just to get it rolling. All right, give me one sec. We'll start out, Safe Harbor. We've got a couple of meetings scheduled for this week. I wanted to discuss the aesthetic improvements to the dry stack. We've had some back and forth with them. They submitted something. We had our architect give it a look over and make some recommendations. We're going to meet to kind of reconcile those two things. And then after that, we're going to discuss the potential Spanish Moss Trail crossing and a potential temporary easement to allow them to locate a pathway that would maybe help us with getting the trail across from the rail bed location. So that's something we're working on with them as well. A couple other things we're working on is because of the new sales price, we'll be revisiting the TIF. It'll probably change up the collection somewhat. So we have to revisit the money we have collected because of the way the TIF ordinance is structured. We can't do pay-as-you-go. It has to be used to underwrite a debt service. And so we'll be returning those funds to the taxing entity, school district, county. Lawrence is drafting that letter now, and Chris has put together the spreadsheet.
Very good.
All right?
Chris, you want to go ahead and do the financial?
What do you want to know? We're in good shape.
No,
Well, your boss put you on the agenda.
no, this is he wanted a mid-year rundown of where we stood financially across all things, all revenue, expenditures, other fund balances, things like that.
If you're not ready, we can put it off.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was tonight, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, we scheduled you for this week and Lisa for next week.
Okay, well, nobody notified me that I was this week, so.
All right. Well, I can't do everything.
All right.
Live TV.
Yeah, we are live.
Let's work on making sure everybody knows what's on the agendas from this point forward.
Okay, and we'll see what next week's agenda looks like, see if we can squeeze it in.
Yep.
If not, we'll move it to,
No, we'll do it next week.
okay.
We'll do it, okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move that to next week. Let's go ahead and keep going on the council briefing.
Rebo Road Quarter Study, obviously, we're going to take up next Wednesday the assigning of the steering committee members. I included in your packets the information for the schedule as well as the information they were asking from us for the GIS. The schedule obviously really kicks in at the later part of January, and we're looking, at a time frame to get all of that accomplished. So designating the steering committee members, getting them involved is going to be pretty important, so.
And
Looking
let's
forward to
talk a
that.
little bit about the steering committee members. I think at this point, the conversation is 3 from the town.
Yes.
And Mary Beth, you've indicated that you want to sit on that. I absolutely want to sit on that, so that's 2. And the staff member is going to be you.
If it's the pleasure of council to assign me, then yes.
So be it.
Well, we can't do that, can't vote this week, but that'll be the conversation next week, unless a council member has a different recommendation on who we
That wasn't a
want.
motion.
No,
Yeah.
Not a
no,
motion.
no motion, it was just a let it be, so be. Yeah. All right, so that's what we'll kind of lean towards next week.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Next item is Sands Beach. In your folders, I had Michael put together an estimate for resurfacing and restriping Sands Beach Road. Pricing not too bad as anticipated. Obviously, we won't be confirmed until we actually put it out for bid. We had talked about maybe putting this together as a submittal for an accommodations grant, but because it's such a small scale problem, it'll show commitment, as the mayor mentioned earlier, to our participation in the improvements to the Sands Beach Boat Landing. And then obviously, we'll be working with the county on the other improvements addressing the ramp itself and the boardwalk piece or the ramp piece. Obviously, for those of you that have seen what's been happening at the super high tides,
Yes.
it's been coming apart. So they've had to repair that a couple of times now. I've reached out to Neil Desai, and he's sent somebody out to address it.
All right, so the next step would be that you'll put it out to bid, and then you'll make a proposal back to council once you get bids?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Impact fees, all of the managers met with Beaufort County prior to Christmas to discuss the updated traffic or transportation impact fee project list and what its potential impacts would be on the fee itself. You know, obviously, it's fairly small in the northern part of the county right now. Based upon the county's existing list plus the projects that were submitted by the municipalities, the fee could have gone up to as much as $9,000 per unit. Obviously, that is very, very high. That combined with what you'd pay for capacity fees with the Water and Sewer Authority, plus if you had recreation or fire impact fees or library impact fees, and you're looking at a pretty significant chunk of change prior to even doing any sort of vertical construction. So we've all been kind of charged with looking at those lists again, and we're probably going to need to get back together and see what's palatable in terms of what a fee potentially could be moving forward. The impact in the southern part of the county wasn't as significant because their fee was already increased or higher than ours. They are also dealing with the school impact fee that was considered for the southern part of the county. So we're kind of trying to figure out kind of the fate of a lot of these very significant projects and how they would be funded and how much of that could be funded through impact fees. And even at the $9,000 number, you're still looking at obviously other funding to make these things happen. And to be quite honest with you, it's a 30-year look at projects, so it's quite large. I mean, we're talking almost $1 billion worth of projects in northern Beaufort County. So it's something we've got to wrap our heads around. And I included the scanned copy of the transportation projects, and I've asked them to send me copies of the way they've refined the list of regional parks and how all those fit into the hierarchy.
I didn't see still no priority on the project list yet.
No, not yet.
And that's something all the managers are still asking for as a priority?
Yeah, you've got to figure that one out. I mean, obviously, if you were doing some sort of significant borrowing, the hope would be that you would be borrowing enough that you could take on a number of these projects all at once. However, we're talking a 30-year window. I'm sure that there's some sort of prioritization based upon when they're really a necessity because they are impact fees and these are anticipated projects. But where everybody's project fits into that priority list is yet to really be determined.
When do they think that'll be determined?
Well, we first have to decide what the fee's going to be, or let's just say you work it backwards and say, well, $9,000 is obviously way too high. There may be some exemptions or exceptions to that impact fee, whether it's affordable housing, low-income housing, attainable housing, whatever you want to call it these days. But I just still don't think the number will be that high. I think you're probably going to get some kickback from some interested groups. So let's just say you decide that $2,500 or $3,000. Well, then you've taken $1 billion worth of projects and really pared it down to maybe a third of that list. And that's where, you really get into what are the priority projects. So if that $1 billion list and you start paring it down, well, what are the essentials? I mean, what's gonna be determined to be the priorities? So,
I'm just asking if there's what's the time frame on?
we met, like I said, about a week before Christmas.
Okay.
I think the county really wants to do something. I think they're probably up against some, because once you collect an impact fee, you have an obligation to spend it within X number of years. If you don't do that, you have to refund it. And there are some fund balances in each of those accounts right now. So I think they're ready they want some decisions made. Now, obviously, the county may take the position if we choose not to, either participate in recreation or library impact fees, or if don't want the impact fee to be changed, they could decide, all right, we're gonna place the priority, we're gonna have the fee, and it's gonna be based on looking at, projects in unincorporated areas of the county. I mean, that's conceivable as well,
And the project list might change.
in the project, yes.
We'll look forward to your report with the managers
Yeah.
decide.
Yeah.
It's actually two, right? Because north of the broad, it's just.
Yeah, it's two
Oh,
sets.
Yamasee's involved with this, but as well, right?
What's that?
Yamasee is also.
Oh, yeah,
involved.
Yemasee's at the table,
And so their fee is the same as ours.
yeah.
Right.
Because one of the questions was funny, Eric Greenway asked, Matt with Yemassee, do you want to charge $9,000 for a unit in Yemassee? And he looked at me and said, do you want to do that? I said, you can charge whatever you want in Yemassee, that's fine. So, anyways. All right, Spanish Moss Trail, like I mentioned earlier, we do have a meeting scheduled to discuss a potential temporary easement or temporary pathway. We'll see where those discussions goes. I think that's up to where we're talking about, up to Ritter Circle potentially, is interface, tried to get across the road. Shrimp facility and dock, I know this is a hot topic.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Brooke and I are still working with the maritime lawyer. He's put together the census of the boats that are there. We're trying to create some sort of hierarchy or priority list of how boats will be dealt with. You've got some that have been completely abandoned, so you go down one road. You've got, one that where the owner may be willing just to give us title so that we can deal with it. You've got others that owe us money, so they may have to be arrested. You have a couple that could just be potentially relocated. So in each of those scenarios, you have a different way that it's handled. And I will give the attorney some credit. He's been tracking down points of contact. He's been talking to boat owners in Miami and different places and talking to the ones that could move and trying to get them really nailed down on when they're going to move. We didn't want to be a Grinch and really push, early January in terms of relocation, but because of our timeline with improvements that that we received through grant funding, I think we were aiming for March 1. All right, you really need to have some tough decisions made if you can get it moved. If not, we're going to be pursuing the legal action if we need to. We all know it's going to be expensive, but we don't have much of a choice. It's going to be done.
Thank you for that update. I did receive an email from Joe Lee today that was very concerned, that wanted to make sure that I asked about it tonight, and that I continued to ask about it every week and report back on Wednesday mornings, which is very inappropriate, but just so y'all know, so if any of y'all can make those Wednesday mornings, please feel free to do so. But I just want to make sure that hopefully Joe Lee is watching and he'll be able to see his answer. Thank you.
All right. Next item is sidewalks. Noah and Brooke have been working on the spreadsheet, which I've then included into your folders. I think, Noah, you're working on a map that would be attached to that to give us kind of an overview of where those sidewalks are located, where we may eventually make decisions to extend where it makes sense. I think we have some opportunities with some of the ARPA revenue replacement funds to really make a significant impact on getting that total map addressed at one time. I think that's the intent. That could also be rolled up with a few other things, other capital improvements, maybe even the work to be done at the Sands Boat Landing, or pothole work or resurfacing of roads, which kind of leads into another discussion. I know typically we've been holding retreats, in March, late March, actually, last year. If we could get a little bit more of a jump start, maybe do it a little bit earlier this year.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing it, trying to go for February. Let's shoot for February. Give you guys, that way the
Yeah, I mean,
budget
we're
has
looking,
some
you got a
time.
February 26th date,
It would have to be.
but that would give us a full extra month, if y'all could check your calendars.
Beginning of February?
No, the beginning is busy, so I think towards the end. would be
Okay,
great.
let's
When?
put out some dates, some suggestions, and let's go ahead and get it on the calendar.
Yes, sir. Do we need to talk about moving that, council workshop to, like we always do for us to
Yeah,
be
it's
in
easy to bring
Columbia from Wednesday to Thursday?
Yeah, we'll have to vote on that next week.
Just wanna make sure we don't forget.
Yeah. Okay, and the map, there is a map of sidewalks that is in our packet already, but that's existing sidewalks.
Yeah, that's just existing sidewalks.
That's just existing, so
That
you,
was actually just provided by county GIS, they had that data
Just to
already.
get something out
Okay.
today.
And so, the goal was to compare that to the ordinances that have already been passed, figure out where things that have already been passed have not been installed.
okay.
There we go. All right. Traffic and road projects, Jeff, working with the PD, is working on Richmond and London Avenues, sidewalk, additional stop signs and some speed humps. We're getting overwhelmed with requests for speed humps again in every location you can imagine. So we'll ask the PD to consider that. We've been doing directed patrols at different locations when these things pop up, and we'll get them done as quickly as we can.
I think they're gonna name us hop, skip, and a jump, because we have more 3-way, 4-way stop signs and humps in this.
Nothing wrong with it, slowing them down.
Until tomorrow,
Yeah.
tomorrow Jeff's gonna put in at least 3 more.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw.
I mean, I don't know about everybody else, I get a lot of requests, a lot of emails about the speeding is bad, people want something done about it, and this is our way to do it,
16th Street.
Yeah, 16th was one of the ones we heard a lot about last week, and people are just driving too fast through this town.
But they
Not
did have
just
a
even-
roadblock this week.
Not just even in the downtown, even, we all know Remote Road, Savannah Highway, Barrows Island Gateway, the Metier Bridge,
It's everywhere.
everywhere, they're just
Broad
too
River
fast,
Bridge.
and I know you guys are doing everything they can possibly do, you can't ticket people out of speeding, it seems like, but you can just keep giving tickets.
State Patrol was all over Broad River today, so.
Yep. And reduce the forgiveness.
Vandalism, obviously the cleanup on the tower was done, I'd say about about $5,800 and some change to do the cleanup there.
And it's
Sean
got
has,
Replacing the wood too?
what's
I
that?
didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I'm getting an
Replacing
estimate on that as well.
Okay.
We're waiting for that material to come in and do the work on that, so,
the wood? Okay,
Just the graffiti cleanup alone was almost just under $6,000.
right,
Wow.
wow,
yes.
that's a lot.
But it was the right thing, we had to clean it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had to clean it up.
So the vandalism and no smoking signs have been installed as well there. So I'd like to say keep your fingers crossed. We haven't had anything recently, so that's good.
Have some people been charged with that?
5,
5? And they have
family court.
Family,
They're juveniles?
Juveniles.
gotcha.
Right.
Well, their parents can do restitution.
That's it, they gotta control their kids.
There's 5 ways.
Yeah. Porter's Chapel, I had a discussion with the National Park Service this week. The display cases that they have planned are about to arrive. They're going to go ahead and start populating those display cases with relevant reconstruction and local history, as well as the Senator Pinckney information. I'm proposing we just go ahead and put the sign up on the building, and we'll get the event scheduled when we can.
Let's do just a small event, let's get Sean to do something
Yeah.
for us, let's do a video, get council out there, we'll just do a small little event, and then we'll follow up later on with the
Sounds good.
full event. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
All
they're
right.
doing a great job on this.
All right, ARPA, or American Recovery Act. I gave y'all some information about what some other municipalities are considering. I did provide in the folder some recommendations that I had. And then I wanted to mention that as part of the county's allocation of their funds, they've set aside $500,000, called the Good Neighbor component of their spending per municipality. So that's another little piece of it that we can add as well. Obviously, we have some spending stipulations and regs that we have to follow. Broadband, sewer infrastructure, water infrastructure. Roads, if they're related to the work done for water and sewer. And premium pay is one of those components as well.
The premium, I mean, that's for staff that worked during the COVID, is that correct? We
Yes.
talked about,
Yeah.
Does that money have to be spent by a certain date or it goes away, or is it just there until we spend it?
Yeah, but it's a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And we've only gotten half of what we're supposed to be allocated thus
Okay,
far.
but it's not like a 6-month time frame and you
No.
lose it, okay.
So can
But we have identified that storm sewer is the same, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I hope when we see the Paris Avenue that we can put some of that money towards the Paris Avenue storm sewer, fixing the problem on West Paris, and then let the grant money do, the 800,000 grant money we got, do the surface work.
Yeah.
You know, do the restoration and the surface work. So that's one we definitely want to take a look at, and move that one along
Right.
in that way.
be good.
The $500,000 that we're getting from the county has less restrictions on it. And when will those dollars actually be available?
I am not sure. I mean, the only thing they say basically has to comply with the ARPA spending.
So it's still the same
Yeah.
restrictions as ARPA?
Right.
Okay, okay.
Naval Hospital sidewalk, no updates on that whatsoever. I reached out to DOT and the feds to see if there was any updates on that, and there's nothing at this point.
Is it time for us to just ask DOT to just perform the project without moving the fence? There are concrete contractors that'll build that sidewalk without ever touching that fence.
I
Do
can
it
ask
at
the
night.
But, I
question.
mean, what
We can
about the
just-
dimension, I mean, the width?
The width is there. It's, the fence move is just for construction. There are contractors in this town that will build that sidewalk without touching that fence. I mean, what it means is closing one lane of traffic every night, but the amount of money it's gonna cost
To move that fence.
to do the nighttime job versus what we've wasted time and energy on moving this fence, it's time to just say, we're building the sidewalk. We wanna build the sidewalk. We want DOT to just put this project out for nighttime work without relocating the
It's
fence.
a safety concern.
Yeah.
And, you know, I see people on that
Right.
every day, and particularly now with the traffic backed up into Parkers.
Yeah, we can't wait any longer.
Yep.
So I think that's where we gotta go, and if you
Happy to ask that question.
ask that question, and if you need some sort of resolution from council to make that happen, just tell us and we'll
Okay.
put it together. Let's do it at night, let's find a contractor that can build it without moving the fence.
Yeah. The SED contact I'm dealing with is out of the office until the 7th, so.
Yeah,
each other.
very good. Just tired.
Nothing of any significance on the CDBG, still waiting for environmental clearance on both of those. And we have submitted the necessary documents to DOT for our acceptance of the DOT-owned roads to make that sewer project happen. Next is in your folders as well, is a letter from Buford Jasper, request for capital projects for I guess, I wouldn't say that these would maybe potentially happen in the fiscal year, but I think they would like us to at least let them know so they can program these things if they're something that they agree to fund. So we need to be giving that some thought. Some priorities, potentially could be the expansion of sewer on Rebo Road along this corridor we're about to study. There are certainly commercial parcels that do not have sewer or appropriate sewer to accommodate the potential redevelopment that we'd like to see. And another, obviously, is maybe 16th Street Extension as well.
I think those are two you should just move forward with. And I would say Rebo Road, water and sewer availability.
Yeah. Okay.
To the parcel.
FOI submittals, I didn't have a number on that. Wasn't
I believe it was 12
12 this month?
this month.
Yeah. All right, Cypress Wetlands, Dean was here actually today. I thought he'd be here tomorrow, but he was able to get down today to check out. We were having some issues with Duck Lines Pond, the water really fluctuating. He identified maybe a problem between 15th and 16th. They're clogged that may be causing water not to flow there. So Jeff is scheduling Degler to come blow out that pipe, make sure we have proper flow. So we're dealing with that. And he'd also pulled some additional boards further up near the main wetlands so that we can drain it a little bit faster. We just don't seem to be getting enough water out of it to put that new structure in, so he's hoping that'll help. Roof repairs, we did Paul Davis, I'm not sure if they're ready yet. What was their status? And
They are to get back to me that this, I think in the next week or two, they should be here to do the repairs.
all right, cool.
And that's this building.
Yes, sir.
Naval Heritage Park, I don't know if you've noticed the work at the gazebo, new ramp, ADA ramp is in place, new set of steps to accommodate, we just figured it would look a lot better with the steps opened up on one side of it to give another access point. So we're pleased with that work. And just as an aside, one of the groups that did some volunteer work on the repairs to the skateboard park is a company, I wish I could remember their name off the top of my head, but they've offered to put in another skating piece and do the install. I cleared that this week, so we'll have another thing for kids, skaters to do at the skateboard park. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Very good.
And that's all I have. And Chris is here. I don't know.
We already put it off.
Stuff together real quick.
Come on up, Chris. Gotta come all the way up.
All the way up on this podium, huh?
Yep, and you're live on Facebook.
All right, great. So, just to give you an idea, I just went back, cash position as of December 31st. Overall cash position across our operating account, money that we have in the investment pool, TIF funds, which I heard Van mention earlier, we're probably gonna send back, but we have it now. And the ARPA money that we received is a little over 6.5 million. And I can break that down a little further if you want. Operating's about 1.2 million, investment pool's 2 million. The TIF is just under $650,000. We just received some more money the other day. And then the ARPA funds, to date, we've received half of that, which was a little over 2.7 million. So the other half of that will come next year. As far as revenues overall, just the way things are, we've spent more than we've got in at this point in the year. That's just because we haven't gotten property tax revenue. We've only got property tax revenue through November 30th so far, and obviously bills aren't due till January the 18th. So, like I said, that's normal this time of year where we've spent more than we've brought in, just anticipating those property tax revenues. Let's see here. Just on the expenditure side, we have a couple of line items that are kind of already over budget, but those are due to some unexpected expenses. The projects and contributions line item under council, there was this Fort Frederick agreement that was a couple of years ago, I believe, and we never received an invoice from the county for that. We finally got that this year. It was $50,000. So it kind of blew out the budget. It was kind of budgeted 2 years ago, and we're just getting the invoice. Obviously, we agreed to that sum, so we paid it. So that blew that line item over budget. And then in the executive special contracts, we're over there. A majority of that is due to engineering costs associated with the Narcissus Roll Ponds sewer extension project that is getting ramped up. I can talk a little bit about our favorite topic, the shrimp docks. As usual, we have brought in $2,800 in revenue and spent about $124,000. We did get in that grant, the $900,000 for those repairs to the dock.
But our spending is slowing down off of what we've done with closing down some of the operations and stuff.
What do you, I mean, people are always.
Yeah, there's no more, we're not employing anybody
We're
anymore.
not employing anybody. Right, so our spending is ramping down as we're
Right,
coming to the
right.
point.
And we don't pay rent.
Not
No,
anymore.
Right. I thought you meant like overall, you were talking about the shrimp. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so,
Gotcha, sorry.
you know, right, we're not paying rent anymore, we don't have any employees.
Correct.
So we spent a lot of money, but that was because it was half the year.
Right.
And we should see the second half not be as substantial, other than the money we're spending now to clear the boats. So we're
Correct.
just transferring our expenditures from the operation to getting the boats off, so that we can finally do the dock repair.
Correct.
Okay,
And that also probably includes a retainer for dealing with the attorney.
yep,
Yes, that's in there as
Yep.
well.
that's in there as well.
That retainer fee.
Okay,
And a lot of times we don't get the money anyway, like, franchise fees, those don't come in till the very last of the year.
Yeah, our
Those
biggest
come in
franchise
just
fee is from Dominion, and we get that like
July.
June 30, June 25th, you know, every year.
Like the last
And that's like, normally that's over like $500,000, so.
Eleven
And business
fifty.
license renewals, that's about to
eleven
kick in.
fifty-nine at night,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wired bank transfer.
So we know those are gonna be coming in later.
Right.
Taxes
And that's where
are
that
coming in.
1.2 operating cash comes into play. We operate
Right,
out of that.
right.
How's our fund balance looking,
I mean, as far as,
percentage-wise?
Well, it's at
That's
that
a Lisa
1.2 right now.
Wexler.
yeah, that's, Lisa will go over all that next week when she goes over the financials and everything. I mean, unless y'all have any other questions for me, that's what I was able to,
No,
put
we appreciate
together,
it.
and, apologize for earlier.
Thank you, you're good.
All right.
We
It's all right.
appreciate you, thank you.
Sorry.
We appreciate. you
Definitely
trying
something
to-
we're gonna be looking forward doing at least,
Meet all in video.
mid-year every year.
Okay, no worries.
To keep
All
us
right.
up with what's going on. Thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council good? Next week we got the audit. We all have a week to read it,
Yes.
fully digest it, and then have
Yes,
somebody
indeed.
explain it to us. Okay, next item is the review of the council agenda for next week. If we can put that up real quick. Any questions or concern? You want to go over it, Van, real quick, or?
Yeah. We will have the election of Mayor Pro Tem.
Right?
That'll be the first item. We will have a presentation from Lisa Wexler. I did provide y'all a link, and obviously I believe you guys have a hard copy of the audit now, so whichever one you prefer. Obviously, we just did the council briefing. Ordinance 2021-38, which is the authorization for the town manager to convey excess real property for a sidewalk. As we mentioned during the public hearing, this is about 75 feet located on 16th Street near London Muse, which is the townhome project. It would connect to an existing section of sidewalk. Council action, I do know we have 2 appointments mentioned here, but we're going to need to do 3. As I mentioned earlier during the briefing, I did include the folder of the schedule as well as GI information that we're trying to pull together for them. Redevelopment Commission, we will have 4 appointments. I believe y'all have interviews scheduled for the special meeting.
I thought it was 5.
5, I thought, because we didn't want to even, we wanted to odd.
Right.
Well, I think it's, you have, I guess you can interview the existing member.
Yeah, if
Whereas
you're
right
still
now, you're
interested,
down to
it's 5.
1 member.
Yeah, okay.
Right,
That's
let's
fine.
go ahead and change the number officially to 5.
Okay.
Even though, yeah,
Yeah,
And then Parks and Recreation, you have 1.
okay. And we said five.
we got somebody in the packet for that.
Yeah. Important information and dates. Give me a sec. Come back to this.
Well, first of all, before we go on, any questions about the agenda up to that point?
No, not, no.
Okay,
All right. Important information dates, Saturday, January 15th at 6 to 10:30 p.m. is the St. Mark's Oyster Roast at Live Oak Park. Thursday, January 27th is I think it's called Thrive?
Converge?
Converge, that's it. I knew it was some energy drink sounding thing. At 9 a.m., if those of you can attend, please let us know so we can get you registered. Also, on the 27th at 6 p.m. is a joint council meeting. Just so you know, on January 27th, both Brooke and I will be in Columbia during the day for that retail program that we got accepted into through MSA. We will be at the meeting, but we will be cutting it close but we will be at the joint meeting, just so you know.
Doing a little escort back or something?
Well, her car's a lot faster than mine, so I'll be way behind her. Friday, the 28th at 9 a.m. is the Beaufort Chamber Board meeting. That's the meeting they wanted us to host, so we'll be hosting that event here. And also on Friday, the 28th, from 4 to 10 p.m. is the Sea Island Rotary Oyster Roast. Is that yours, Steve? Got anything you want to say about it?
All three.
Oh, it's the 3? Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. And I do have a representative of Safe Harbor here. I don't know if he has anything he wants to add.
If there's anything kind of that I want to start organizing, it seems like a workshop item, is the issue that we've been facing and we're aware of.
Sorry, come on forward.
For our viewers. This would be just kind of a workshop comment, because we haven't quite organized it yet, but want to put into place a plan for addressing the issue that we have with the shoaling out there by the sea buoy. We're limited, we've already experienced some issues with this in terms of what the cruise ships could do or not do. Right now, we're limited to bringing ships in only, or let me say ships, any boat with an 11-foot draft or greater, we can only bring in or take out at high tide in daylight hours. That's due to the fact that the range is missing, which is supposed to be maintained by the Coast Guard, and the channel is not marked, which is supposed to be maintained by the Corps of Engineers. So I'm gonna be organizing kind of a community effort. I've already contacted Senators Scott and Graham over this. We'll be reaching out to Nancy Mace and some others. And but I want sort of the town's help, not just from council, but from the public as well, as we kind of encourage this to get done. It's probably gonna be a year or two type of thing before it actually gets executed. But I would say the importance of it is this: what we've been advertising and promoting to such a large degree about our port and our capabilities has been chopped at the knees by this particular situation. We have an extremely deep water port. We have great capabilities, but about 12 miles from where we're sitting right now, we have an issue where we cannot get ships in over basically what's referred to often as the shelf. It's the furthermost point of the channel. Once you get into the channel, clear sailing. It's deep all the way through the sound up to our property, but we do have a little bit of an issue out there, and we're gonna need federal help in addressing it. So that's about the biggest thing
Is
I've
that where
got.
the two lights where you come into the
Right,
to
you
the
have two
harbor?
lights, which
That's the
still
line.
surprises me. That seems pretty medieval to me. I would think that these people are running on GPSs, but nevertheless, when you're in the channel, there's a lower light and an upper light. When you line those two lights together, you're in the channel. For that reason, those lights are out, so they will not, the harbor pilots have refused to operate in, dark hours, because they don't have that available to them. And then, the other component is at the buoys, whether I'm sure it's a combination of both. I mean, I'm only assuming kind of what's under the water, but there's an issue of shoaling, so sand moves back and forth and the channel shifts. But furthermore, it does seem that it's also filled in a little bit at that area. So two things are very likely to occur, and one is relocating the buoys. They can get moved around during really heavy storms and things like that. And there's probably going to be a measure of dredging that will be required. In terms of dredging, it's not the same kind of thing, dredging that you would get inshore, where you have to have spoils and all this kind of stuff. It's literally
Just move it to the side.
just moving it to the side as you identify it, put it, and then, so it's not, we're looking at two things that shouldn't be too difficult, but where the range was, for example, we went out there in boats, and those structures that they're on, they're basically poles, they're gone. I mean, they're not, it's not just a matter, we were hoping that it was just light bulbs that needed to be replaced, and as it turns out, we got every one of them, and via the depth finder, we could find a little mound that, is 12, 13 feet underwater, but that's all that was left of that structure, and couldn't even find the other one, so.
And this channel is so poorly marked and neglected. I mean, you go, I know, I hate to point out that the other channels are better maintained, but if you use your boat anywhere after dark around here, it's ridiculous how poorly that channel is marked. Go near Hilton Head, and it's Christmas time with the red and green, but not over here.
Right. And I definitely think it's something important for us to note too, is that we had some limitations that certainly we as developers were hoping for, that were placed upon us. Y'all might recall that in terms of how the marina was designed, and those limitations were largely placed on the idea that it was a commercial shipping lane. So they're enforcing the rule on us in terms of it being a commercial shipping lane, but they aren't maintaining the commercial shipping lane. So they, you know, and they've admitted that. They haven't touched this lane in years and years and years because there really is no commercial traffic. But you could argue that the situation we had with Victory, that's commercial traffic, and we had to turn it away because we can't get them in and out. And so, it's, like I said, it's just an organizational thing, just something to plant a bug in the ear that,
Okay.
I'll be putting kind of together a plan of attack on how we do this, but we're gonna need everybody's help, public, council, staff, and everybody to try to march that through.
I will say that your statement that this should be something fairly easy, just, you know, really, we thought the sidewalk on Reebok Road was gonna be something fairly easy in 2016.
I recognize it
And
won't be.
we're still we're still trying to get that sidewalk.
Maybe the Navy can make it up to us.
For the record, I want to make sure, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, I said it could be.
Could be, yeah.
Thank y'all.
Very good, thank you. Anything else?
Van, I do want to say that this Saturday, January 8th, at the Port Royal Beer Gardens, that from 1 to 4, Help of Buford is doing an oyster roast barbecue.
Okay.
We just need to,
Let's see if we can't get that on our Facebook page and get something posted about that also. You can help. Anything else from council, from staff? If not,
I know that
go.
each of us serve as an ex officio member of boards. Do we have, or can we just have like probably like a quarterly presentation from, I guess maybe a board person, an update or something as to whether, you know?
Yeah, I had reached out to Parks and Rec, and I think they would like to come in and sit down and talk to us about what it is we expect from Parks and Rec. I mean, if you think about what we just did redevelopment, so let's now pick another one. Let's look back at what it is that what they were in place for, what they're doing, and I think let's just work through all of them over
Right,
this
yes,
next year.
exactly, a different one, not
So,
all, yeah.
you know, Parks and Rec is the next one that's very active, they've been doing some great things. Well, let's give them some direction, and let's tell them where we wanna go. So maybe we'll have that conversation, a couple of us will get together. Kevin, are you the,
Yeah.
so maybe we'll have a meeting with the chairman,
With John?
with John, you, me, John, staff. We'll start that conversation and bring it back to council and see where we wanna go with that,
Okay.
okay?
All right,
It's good?
sound good?
All right, in that case, anything from staff? Staff, there was a foot, nope, we're good. Thank you, everybody, good night. See you next Wednesday.